Hi guys, Luke here of SimBoxx in association with Clint Patrick and Adrenaline Performance. Delighted today to be joined by the pint-sized powerhouse, Rylan Charlton. Rylan, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great, thanks. So, first and foremost, let's get into things. But can you tell us a little bit about that nickname, pint-sized powerhouse, and where was it first coined? Where did it come from?
Well, I think it kind of came from a few of my mates. I'm like probably the shortest out of my group of mates. So yeah, pint size, I'm powerful. So then we just kind of went for the pint size powerhouse and it kind of stuck. So yeah, I don't mind it. It's a bit of a long-winded one, but people seem to like it. So I'm going to stick with it.
Absolutely. Is there anything else in the pipeline in terms of nicknames? Is there anything you'd swap it for if you had the chance?
No, I don't think so. I think I'll keep the pint size powerhouse. It's long, but I don't think there's anyone out there with that nickname. So I'll stick with it.
That's it. It's certainly original. So let's get into the boxing side of things, Rylan. I know you're a very busy man. So first and foremost, the recent link up with Carl Greaves, an esteemed trainer, promoter, ex-fighter in his own right, a very busy man, a very experienced man. You linked up with him as your new trainer. Why the change and why Carl?
I fancied a change. I feel like after that fight, I felt like I thought I needed to step up a little bit. Go with a trainer that's been in, like my previous trainer, Frank Sictoness. He done great with me, but it gets to the point where you want to go with someone that's more experienced, that's been in there himself, and see what he's done with Avanisi. And he's brought him on amazingly, and getting him to turn over Josh Kelly like he did. I mean, it's a no-brainer. He's obviously like Avanisi's got a similar style to me, like come forward fighter, and beating such a good prospect like Josh Kelly, like he's obviously a decent trainer. So thought I'd give it a go, and yeah, we're working together pretty well. So I'm really looking forward to the future with him.
Have you had any opportunities to spar with David Avanesian as of yet, or is that something that you'd like to do in the future?
I did spar with him. Yeah, I sparred with him for the Marku fight. We had done a few rounds together. It's pretty good. He's one tough geezer. I did predict that happening. I know Josh Kelly's a great boxer, but I've been in the ring with a lot of people, sparring wise, and he is one tough man. He can bang. He's just tough. Like he'll take you into deep waters, and yeah, that's what we've done with Kelly.
So you've been with Carl for a few weeks now. Have you felt anything change? Have you felt the improvements being implemented already?
Yeah, I do actually. I feel like I was always quite throwing punches like one dimensions, 1, 2, 3 shots, 1, 2, 3, and just plodding forward and just trying to use my strength moving forward. But I'm cutting down on the power. I'm just going to be flowing with the shots, throwing 6, 7 combinations, just getting better, faster with the shots kind of thing. We're going to be dropping weight as well because the weight was always too big for me. So yeah, we're going to just be working on speed and movement and stuff like that. And yeah, I feel like I'm coming along already.
Of course, you mentioned there the moving weight, which I find fascinating, given that your last fight against Marku was at 147. We will touch on that fight in a second, but you're not only moving down in weight, but you're jumping a weight class. You're going down to 135, I believe. What's the thinking behind that, and not stopping at 140 and going all the way down to 135?
Well, I used to box on the small hall shows, so I do like on the day weigh-ins. And I used to weigh in sometimes like 10 stone 2 on the day. And I never really used to diet properly. I never really used to try and get right down to the weight. And I ain't big. I've got a stupid top half. I've got big old arms on me, but I've got like little hollow legs. So I'm pretty sure I'll easily be able to get down to lightweight. So we're gonna go give that a go. Maybe have my first fight at like 137 or something. Just work our way down. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure I can do lightweight.
It's a fascinating division at lightweight, both internationally but also domestically. You got the likes of James Tennyson that's coming back off a loss, Luke Campbell at the top of the pile, and also like Gavin Gwynn and things like that. So to get into that division, like you say, and although you're not working on your power under Carl Greaves, but naturally coming down in size, you're going to keep that power. And would you look at that as a kind of advantage against the other guys that have been operating at 135 pounds a little longer? Do you think that you're naturally going to be stronger and bigger and maybe a hard puncher?
Yeah, for sure. Like when I've boxed with the welterweights, they're all massive. Like when I was sparring welterweights for the Marku fight, I was some of the kids were like 6'1". I mean, I'm 5 foot nothing. I'm like, Jesus, we're the same weight. Like, so these guys at welterweight, they walk around 11.5 stone and then they drop down to 10 stone 7 and stuff. Like, I walk around at welterweight. So, I mean, I've got to just drop it's just dropping what they would drop kind of thing. Always about a stone or something. But I could drop that. And I feel like I was always boxing out of my weight class. And it just gets to the point after getting a beating like I got, it's time to, you got to make changes. So 100% I'll do the lightweight. Is
there a regret there that it took the loss to Marku to kind of get you in the mindset of changing weight? Is there a regret that it didn't happen sooner? I know you're only 6-7 fights into your career, so you've got a lot of time ahead of you, but is there a regret it didn't happen sooner?
No, I try not to regret anything really, because I may have never got into the position I got into if it wasn't for Marku kind of thing. So you just got to, take it on the chin. It's one of them things. I'm glad that I've got in there and boxed people. Like, you see a lot of people with their records and they've just boxed journeyman their whole lives. Yeah, they might be 15-0, 10-0, but they never boxed anyone. So I like the fact I've boxed someone, and I like the fact that I know I've got a chin now, so I won't go down. And I don't regret it. I'm just glad that it's done and dusted now, and we can move on with the 135.
That's a great philosophical way to look at things. So the Marku fight, just quickly touching on that, of course, it was the first loss of your career. In the short term and the long term, how do you feel you've recovered from losing for the first time as a professional fighter?
I think I've done all right, really. I feel like a fight's a fight. We both went in there, we gave it our all. And he came out on top, and I feel like you just got to push on with it. I had a few injuries. I had a broken eye socket in a couple of places, and then a broken cheekbone. But I suppose it comes with a job, doesn't it? I just feel like, it's one of them things. I wasn't really too fussed. I'm glad I fought people, and don't mind if I got a loss in there. I feel like a lot of fighters have losses, and they do continue. It's just some people, when they get one loss, think, "Oh, I'm done. That's me done." But it's only you done if you want to be done, kind of thing. And I ain't done yet. So,
yeah, absolutely. So, speaking to you today, Rylan, and looking at you in the build-up to your fights previously, you're a very laid-back, confident character. Now, against Marku and Joseph Laws, these are two guys that are quite brash, quite outspoken. How do you deal with that, in the lead up to fight night? And, especially with Marku, you kind of turned it on the later we got into fight week. Do you feel like you kind of go on autopilot and you don't seem to really react to it? What's your thoughts? This kind of aggression, if you like, verbal aggression?
Well, I didn't really react to it a lot, but maybe I've been thinking about this. Maybe all that talking like he was doing to me in a press conference and all that kind of stuff, maybe that stuff may have got into my head. And that's why I was just running at him, trying to take him out. I don't think I went on the back foot once. I was just running at him, getting punched in the head and just trying to take him out. But I'm pretty chilled. I don't really care about all the talking. I feel like maybe I'll start doing some talking. I don't know, getting into people's heads. I might give it a go. But nothing really bothers me, to be honest.
Looking at the post-fight reaction, some interviews that you've done and things like that, you've took a lot of pride from the fact that, you didn't go down against Marku. We've seen is a bit of a wrecking ball, but against yourself in the previous fight as well, it was a bit of a draw. He had a draw, in the previous fight, and, you give him a tough night's work. What is your thoughts on Florian Marku having fought him? And, there's a lot of hype surrounding him. He's very popular with the Albanian backing. Do you think the hype's justified? Do you think he will go on to challenge the likes of Conor Benn and etc.? Or do you think it could just be a hype job?
I personally think that he did box very well against me. He was clever. He was on the back foot. He done well. But I don't rate him that much because, let's be honest, I feel like he caught me with some big shots. I didn't go down. He didn't hit that hard. Some of them hurt. I mean, my legs went a bit funny and all that, but he didn't hit that hard. So, and I put him on his ass, and I'm a natural lightweight, really. So if he comes across like to Conor Benn, he's stronger kind of thing, he will get put on his ass and he won't get up kind of thing. So maybe if he drops down a weight, 140, he might do a bit better, but I don't think he'll do great at 147.
Interesting. So, speaking of interesting topics, away from the sport of boxing, you're a chef, which, as I mentioned off camera, that I only found that out today. Which is, you see some jobs like boxers might work on the road, tarmacking or builders. There's not too many boxing chefs that I know of.
Yeah. I've always been chefing since I started off as a kitchen porter, washing up when I was about 15, and then worked my way up in the chefing ranks. But since the old pandemic, there was obviously no restaurants open. So I landed a job in a care home. So I'm now chefing in a care home, which I'm not cooking the extravagant food that I'm used to, but I cook a mean shepherd's pie, I tell you that. So that's all I really do at the minute. But yeah, still in the kitchen. It's not bad. It's easy, especially at the care home. It's easy hours. Like in the chefing days, I used to work like sometimes like 70, 80 hours a week. And doing that and then trying to box is just a nightmare. So yeah, I'm glad I've landed this job, this nice and cushy hours, and allows me to train a lot. But yeah, it's decent.
Obviously, you've got the backing of Matchroom, and you got the contract before the Florian Marku fight. Is there any issues or any worries that there might be a conflict of interest when things start picking back up again, that you might have to choose between you're going full-time as a boxer, maybe returning to the chefing once you retire? Or is it always going to be like a balance in that you want to do kind of both things at once?
Well, hopefully Eddie Hearn wants to go and get me a proper sponsor so I can full-time box. That's what I'm banking on. But yeah, I want to be full-time at some point. I'm just going to keep fighting and get a few wins under about a 135, and hopefully go for some bigger people in the 135 game, and then hopefully stop working and being in the kitchen so I can 100% focus on training.
Absolutely. So just to close out, Rylan, I just want to get your thoughts away from your career on a couple of fights, big fights that have gone down previously and coming up. So firstly, Josh Taylor's fantastic victory over Jose Ramirez, a fight of the year contender. He becomes the first ever British, Scottish, undisputed four-belt world champion. Did you catch the fight, and what did you make of it? And also, I've got to mention that you was the only pro prediction in our article that went for Jose Ramirez. So
yeah.
Take that
Yeah, I know. I to be honest, I don't watch a lot of boxing. I didn't watch the fight. I watched the highlights. Looks like, yeah, Josh done amazing job. I just thought I'm going to go for the Mexican because the Mexicans were doing pretty well, and he looked kind of handy. But yeah, he got outboxed. Josh Taylor done very well. I'm annoyed that it wasn't broadcasted that much though. Like nowhere really broadcasted the biggest fight out there kind of thing. But yeah, he's done well, and that Ramirez, he weren't as tasty as I thought it'd be.
You mentioned there about the broadcasting situation. Of course, it was on Fight TV, which is an online streaming service. But I think it was a bit, if you're looking at it from a tactical point of view, Sky announced in the week of Josh Taylor against Ramirez that they're going to be showing Logan Paul against Floyd Mayweather on pay-per-view. I don't think that sat really well, did it, that they're going to announce that kind of fight on pay-per-view? We understand it's all numbers and business, but to announce that in the fight week of Josh Taylor Ramirez when that's not got a mainstream broadcaster is a bit of a dodgy one.
Yeah, it's not good at all. I don't know what the world has come to, but it's all about money in it at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And this weekend coming, just to finish with, in your new weight division, at the very top of that division, we've got Devin Haney defending his WBC world title against the vastly experienced, very skilled Jorge Linares. What side of the fence are you sitting on with this, Rylan? Is it the youth of Haney or is it the experience of Jorge Linares?
I'd say the youth of Haney. I reckon he'll beat him. I don't really watch either of them too much. I don't really know what they're both like, but I would say Haney because he's young, he's fresh, he's hungry. Yeah, I think he'll take him out.
Fantastic. So what's the plan from here? Rylan, are we back in the gym in the morning, back training with Carl Greaves?
No, tomorrow I'll be cooking up some sort of cottage pie, shepherd's pie, and then I'll be training in the evening. And then Wednesday I'm heading to Carl Greaves training. I'm still training every day, but just not as hard. But we're just waiting for a fight day. And then once the fight day's penciled in, I'll go and live up in Newark where Carl Greaves is, and I'll train there for the 6 weeks.
Exciting times where we look forward to the debut under Carl Greaves. We look forward to you debuting at the new weight class. But thanks for your time. I'll let you get back to your evening. I'm sure we'll catch up again real soon.
Thanks a lot, mate.
Take care.
Cheers.